Hello everyone. I hope you have understood what we discussed in our last video where we talked about the two-phase commit. And you also have understood what are the problems or the drawbacks we have in two-phase commit. So if you have any queries, you can post in the comments related to the all the videos that we discussed before that. So let's get started with the saga pattern. Again, if you have already watched my videos, you already know what a saga pattern is and you already know its types. But on a high level, we had two types in saga pattern, the choreography and the orchestration. Let's understand the orchestration type first. So in the orchestration type, we have a coordinator. It's a centralized coordinator. So all the steps or the transactions that are involved in a transaction, suppose we create a order and we have to check the product and the inventory APIs, right? Like we did in the two-phase commit. So the coordinator, it will handle all of them. If something is failed, it will roll back that particular transaction that has already been done. I should not say rollback because we don't have rollbacks in saga pattern. We have the compensate transactions. Let's start with the implementation. So again, we have all three APIs: inventory API, order API, and the product API. The process or the steps would be same. In the order API, we would be sending the request to the uh, product and the inventory, and based on the response we get from the product and the inventory API, we would either commit the changes or we would compensate the transaction. Let's modify the inventory API first. We have the controller. Will not be touching this code. Let me create another one. Let me copy this one. This is okay. So we have a saga. Yeah, so we can keep the same name. That doesn't matter. Let's call it a saga reserve. Okay. So here, let's delete this one. We don't need this kind of transaction because we would be committing it. Okay. Let's say we are using we would be using the using statement. Okay. So we have saved the transaction in this variable. So we find the inventory. Again, we would check the quantity as well if it's required. If everything is up to the expectation, we would deduct the quantity, we would save the changes, and we would also commit the changes. Okay. Unlike two-phase commit, we don't have two phases here, prepare and the commit phase. We just reserve the price. We just commit whatever the changes we want in the first call that we make from the order API. Okay, so this is it. Here we would be returning internal server. Okay, if you want, you can save this transaction inside a variable, right? Like this, and you can roll back here. Something like this dot rollback async and token. This would help if whenever we want to commit the changes here and some error has occurred, or maybe network issue, the connection is not made to the DB, so we can use the rollback here in the catch or in the exception. Okay, so this is how we would be reserving the price for the saga pattern. Again, we would be first implementing the orchestration type saga. Okay, now we will copy. No, we don't have to copy. We have the code in the product API, we would make the same changes in the product API as well. Okay, so we'll copy this one. We create a method for Saga and we call it a Saga prepare product. Everything is going to be same. Okay, this is okay, this is okay. Now here we would commit the transaction. Here we would be returning internal server error and we would be rolling back the changes if something unexpected has happened. Okay, so this is for the product API. We have reserved the price. Now let's make some changes in the order API. Let me copy paste this one as well. I don't want to touch the code that we have written for the two-phase commit. Let's call it a Saga create order. Again, I will not be making the calls to these methods. It's just for the understanding. Let's delete this code. We won't be needing it. Okay, so now there are two ways that we can implement it. We can create an interface. We can call it Saga orchestration, or create order something that will have a method, let's say execute Saga or start Saga, something like that. And it knows these steps. It would call the product API first, it would call the inventory API then, so it knows the steps. The same implementation that I'm going to perform here, you can do that in a interface. That would be the better approach. But let's do here just for save some time. So let's make the call to product API for creating or for reserving the quantity for the product. Call it a Saga product. Everything would be same. Okay, and we can check if the product response is okay. If it's not okay, then we can return from here status codes. Let's return 501 here. Okay, and we can give the custom message product response is not okay, something like that. Okay, now let's say the product response is okay. We have reserved the price. So what's happening in the product Saga reserve product? We are checking the product. Okay, if it's there, we would be deducting the quantity and we would save the changes in the database and we would commit it. So now we cannot roll back it, right? Because rollback is not a choice in Saga pattern. We have the compensate. That we would understand how it works. Now if it is successful, the next step is the inventory API. Okay, we would be deducting the quantity from the inventory as well. Okay, we would make the call to the inventory. Let's go say it post async. Okay, and we would be passing the no content here. This is okay. Now if inventory.response is success code, that means we have created the product, we have created the order, because there are only two steps that are involved in creating an order. So those two are okay. The product is okay and the inventory is okay. So that's why we are returning order is created. And if the inventory response it comes as not okay, then we have to roll back the changes that we have made in the product response. That's the tricky part here. We cannot roll back it. We would have to run the compensate transaction. So what a compensate transaction is, whatever the quantity, so here we have made the quantity, deduct the quantity here. So what we're gonna do in the compensate transaction, we would roll back that quantity. We subtract the quantity in the product controller, but in the compensate we would add the quantity back to the product quantity. Let me copy this code, you'll understand it better. Okay, so here instead of prepare, let's say compensate product. Now I know whatever the changes I made in the prepare or Saga prepare product. Okay, based on the changes that I made in the Saga reserve product, the compensate product would be similar to that. If I have made, you know, let's say I'm not deducting a quantity, let's say I'm creating a new product. So whatever the data I'm getting here, I'll create a new row in the product table. Now I know in the compensate, whatever the row that I created earlier, I have to delete it. Okay. So when we create a row here, we would return the row ID that we have created. The same ID we would pass here to delete the row. So this is how the compensate works. Whatever the changes we made in the reserve, we would have to roll back them. We would have to run the compensate transaction according to that. The only change I have to make here is the product.quantity plus the quantity that I have already deducted. So that's it for the compensate transaction. So this is how it works. Okay. Now in the order, what I'm gonna do here, if it's failed, then I would run the compensate transaction like this. Okay, so I pass the ID here and the quantity that I raised the request for. Okay, this is how we would run the compensate transaction. I have only two APIs involved in this transaction, but in real time scenario there could be 10 APIs involved. So instead of writing the compensate transaction like this, you could have uh, you know add the compensate transaction for each of um, the transaction that is, or the API that is involved in a transaction. Let me create the private method here. I'll call it compensate product. I know that I will be getting the ID and the quantity and the cancellation token. Okay, I just have to copy this one here. Let me make the changes. I'll not be getting this one, I'll be getting the ID. Okay, so here if compensate is success code, I would return true, otherwise I would return false. Okay, so now I can call this one here. I want to pass the ID, so I can pass this one, order product ID and the quantity and the token, like this. If it's true, then we would return the compensation is okay or something like that. Okay, otherwise everything is okay. Let's return this one. So this is how we can do that. And let why I have created a new method here. Let's say we have 3 or 4 APIs that are involved. Let's say this is success. Okay, then we have to call another API, let's say shipping or something. Okay, and if the shipping API that, if it gets failed, we would have to compensate, the inventory as well as the product, right? So we would be adding more lines here. Instead we would just call this method whenever we want to compensate the product. The same goes for the inventory API. So we have to write the compensate for the inventory as well. So this is how we can implement the orchestration type Saga. Let me make a little bit of correction here. We should use the exclamation. We are checking if the status code is not okay. It's not a success status code. Then we would respond as it's not a okay. Okay. So that's it for the Saga pattern. Again, there is one challenge here. So when we send the product response, this is okay. When we send the inventory response and it's not okay, we have to compensate it, right? And let's say when we try to run the compensate product and we got a failure, we were not able to complete it due to some reason. It could be a network failure, it could be a scenario where the connection to the DB is not made. So the compensate product is has not happened. How would we handle that? If we are talking about the distributed transactions, that's the challenge. There is always a risk of network failure. We often see it when we, in a real time scenario when we are paying for a bill. Sometimes we get the message the payment is deducted, but the payment has not been made to the vendor. So we get a 30 minutes time out there. So what happens in the background? Maybe they have a batch job that will run that will check if something is partially completed. So they will see what are the challenges over there. They will see what step that needs to be made there. So this is kind of a scenario that can be implemented. Again, it's up to the requirement. If we can handle those scenarios, we should have something in place. If we are talking about the distributed transactions, if we want to achieve the atomicity. So that's all for the orchestration type Saga. In the next video, we will talk about the choreography, how we can implement it. So I'll see you in the next video. Thank you. Bye bye.